Delima and her driver. If I do not talk about the topic to talk about, because what is really very crucial, that because of that, which I termed immoral because the driver has a family and a wife, gave rise, that connection gave rise to the corruption of what was happening inside the National Penitentiary. Kaya nga nagkaroon ng special privileges. Are you not surprised that during her term and for a longer period, when she became the Secretary of Justice, there were special privileges granted to all, almost all inmates. There were guns there inside. There were parties being held almost every night. There was a combo, a musical group. Liquors and alcoholic drinks flowed freely, and women went inside and out the prison. Now, if I do not mention the connect between the senator, who was then a Secretary of Justice, and a driver, how would you now explain? How would now explain to the public that these things happened, the partying, drugs, and even cooking shabu went well, unbridled, unhampered, because of the driver himself? Would you think that a driver of a Department of Justice employee could have allowed these things by all and himself? These illegal things which you saw on TV almost every day for about a month? Do you think that without Delima giving him the authority to allow the inmates to do that, all of this could have only happened if there was the go signal from the head of the department, which is the secretary. Barlaan, is there his name? Yeah, Barlaan. He was also one of the bagman. He was also, there's another fellow there. Undersecretary, all of these things happened under your nose, and shabu was floating inside, and it was being, and what was really painful, and that's the reason why we knew, and I know, because they were trafficking shabu from the inside. Were it not for that authority, these cell phones and everything else, the guns, could not have happened. Now, I am now warning everybody connected with the Bureau of Prisons in Muntinlupa. All the guards there and the supervisors. Because if you do not tell the truth before any committee of any governmental body, be it the Senate or the House of Representatives, be prepared to be charged. For what? That is serious negligence of duty. If not, I hope it is not that you were in conspiracy with the prisoners. You were there for almost all the time that these things happened. Do you mean to say that you did not report it to your superiors? Or you allowed these things to happen by yourself, only your authority and nobody else's? Then be prepared to be investigated, because I will charge you for negligence of duty or under the revised penal code for conspiring with these guys to precisely act the way they behave there inside the prison. It could not have happened without your connivance. It could only mean conspiracy. Now, if you are not ready to tell the truth, I said, be ready to be ousted. You're all invited in the meantime to go to Basilan and find your places there and in Holo. You're going there. Kayong lahat, I will be assigning you there. In the meantime that we are now waiting for the House of Representatives, which is also conducting its own inquiry. I urge Delima to proceed with the investigation. And I would like to invite, there's somebody, sir, who told me there was this UN expert that Duterte is not doing enough. To come to the Philippines, have a conference to me in public. You can ask your questions, all that you want to know. But allow me to ask you also. You seem to be characterized as a UN expert. Fine. I'm just a simple trial lawyer. So why don't you come here and let's talk about what you are talking about. Extrajudicial killing, I will do the explanation in public for international release if you want. For the things that really happened during the criminals and the police in operations, punitive operations, police action, I am willing to answer all of them. And I said, I assume full responsibility for what happened because I was the one who ordered it. Now, my instructions at the very first day of my term was that go out and hunt for these criminals. Arrest them if they surrender peacefully. But if they put up a violent stand, then you just have to kill him. Because I do not want people in government dying needlessly for doing his work. Well, you will then be leaving behind a family and children. Now, remember today, we lost another policeman. On the average, on the national scheme, we lose about on the average, 2-3 police officers killed in drug operations. Now, I want the law expert to come here and to count the numbers of deaths also incurred by government with his fingers to guide him how many deaths were caused. For the extrajudicial killing, they say, it's not the work of the police to be wrapping people with plastics and putting it in the bag. That is not the job of the police. I just told him that one bullet will do. Why do you have to wrap it? Waste your time. That is not. But we know at the start what we planted the intrigues there. I am just as, not really. I've learned a lot during my prosecution days. We planted evidence. We arrested persons, but we released them. But telling him that it was this person who squealed on him. And then when he goes out but killing, then we said that it was this fellow who really did it, who did you in. We first planted the intrigues so that we would know where they were, from where they came from. It was not until I was the favorite whipping boy of Delima. She was for the longest time chairman of the Commission on Appointments, Philippines Republic. She was yakking. She never proved anything. When she became Secretary of Justice, she was yakking, accusing me. But she never also initiated any complaint, any accusation anywhere. She just simply loved talking in front of cameras and microphones. Now, she's conducting an investigation against, in the matter of judicial killings. And then she had the goal again to mention my name, Mayor Duterte, that's what I call me. My appellation is really Mayor. That's my nickname, so you call me Mayor. Do not call me President. I'm not used to it. I've been mayor for 23 years. Just call me mayor. I said, Mr. President, Duterte, follow me as I start my probe. Good. Then we will have to include all. Your driver, all of the employees, Barlaan, and may I ask you, the name of the house in Pangasinan was named under the title was named in favor of under the sister of your driver. Where did she get the money? Tell me. Where did your driver get the money to build such a good house? Can you show me their income? What's their business? And what is the wealth of your driver? He was the only one residing there all the time. And you, Senator Delima, went there so many times. First during the house blessings, and on weekends you were with your driver. And everybody knows. The Department of Justice employees know about it. When you were the secretary of, or the chairman of the commission appointments, everybody in that agency knew about it, as if you're the only one. You know, the reason why I called for this conference is just to disabuse the minds of the many women criticizing me. I said I have to mention the connect between Delima's driver and her. Otherwise, I'd look stupid. Why would the inmates obey a driver on the mere approval of a driver? Para kang gago. So, that is one round. Wait until we present these guys. They can maybe deny it initially, but you know, there are a lot of ways of doing it. Allow me to ask you 7 questions, and I would get the truth from your mouth. I am not saying I'm the best, but the 10 years as a prosecutor was a learning process of arriving at truths. Now, the second round would be, I would be mentioning again the names of the police and most of the senior officials of the police, PNP, and some judges. But in between, far and wide in this controversy, I will now raise again the Napoles issue. There are a lot of billions and billions of pesos lost. You've been able just only to put several lawmakers there inside, but only because the charge is, the accusation is non-bailable. Otherwise, whether to tell, you have to reckon and telling whether they'd be eventually put in prison with finality or acquitted. In the meantime, just there in prison, and that is not enough vindication for the Filipino people. Let us revisit the Napoles case. I have some revealing things to tell you about it. You just wait. But I will, if that is the only thing that I'll have to do until the end of my term, I will do it. But I shall have done a singular task of giving you the truth about our government. The reason why I was raising my fist, it was in defiance all the time I was campaigning because I was mad at government. People were being framed at the airports with bullets placed inside their bags, being arrested, investigated for no reason at all, except that the greed of those. I said, I've been, you know, my mouth is, they say, lousy. But I would like to issue a warning. that on Monday I would declare all positions in the government that were presidential appointments, or if you are there because of the presidential appointments, I will declare all your positions all throughout the country vacant. You know why? Until now, in my provincial visits, I still hear corruption being committed by people, especially in the regulatory agencies. I would like to point out one. The LFTRB, LTFRB, the regulation board, LTFRB. I forgot his name, but come to me and see me in Malacanang. The LTO and those who are appointed to the positions of LTO, except the career, consider your positions vacant as of this hour. All of them. Lahat. It will number in thousands. Consider yourself in the crucible of the truth about corruption in this country. I hate it. I do not want to give the slightest headache to my fellow human beings. So, Delima, farthest from my mind is to derogate your person. But I have to mention your relationship because it was your driver who was in contact with the rest of the guys there inside the prison. And eventually, Senator Delima, it was your greed and your immorality that did you in. Hindi mo na matago yan. It's all loose. I think it's beyond your control already. People are willing. Even the employees of that penitentiary, SAF took it over. It's now under the police. But remember this, when we start to ask questions, you better tell us the truth, or else I will charge you all, superintendents, wardens, supervisors, a case of conspiracy to commit a serious wrong, or at the very least, seriously neglecting your duty. The Napoles case should deserve a second look. For us also, it involves corruption and Delima. Any question? Yes, Bigornia.
Morning, sir.
You are the top notcher, always the first to raise your hands. You must be good at the exercise of doing it. Go ahead.
Sir, Delima had a press conference yesterday, and she said that she's willing to resign and be shot in front of you if your allegations are true. She said all your evidence are fake, false, manufactured, and perjured.
Same here. I said, I'm putting at stake. At the start of my term, I said, I'm willing to put at stake my honor, my life, and the presidency itself. Nauna na ako. I'd be willing to go. I said, go ahead, change me. I've been telling the congressman, if I'm lying, we had a conference there for some time. I said, you can impeach me. She is lying to her teeth because now that she is, you know, in all of her answers, she was only telling about drugs. Now she denied their links about drugs. But she never said true or false about the driver. And the driver is the connect. Lahat naman sa loob, sinasabi ang driver. Driver said, I have the permission of the top honcho. So that is why. Now tell me, Delima, when I testified in the Senate 2 years ago about the rice smuggling of the city, and at the behest of the BIR Commissioner Kim Inares, and I said, Rudy, any call, please help us in finding out who's behind this rice smuggling. I did. I never went. I do not go to inside. They are being operated independently of the local governments. But I did my work, and it was not until all of the agencies never knew Bangayan. From the Philippine Ports Authority to the Philippine Maritime Police to the Coast Guard, nobody knew the idiot until I went inside the intelligence community and asked for a picture. And I said, do not fuck with me. Give me the picture of this Bangayan. And that is why I exhibited. When Enrile said, do you know this Bangayan? Yes. Can you identify him? Yes, he's that idiot that. And when I said, what will you do if you find Bangayan doing smuggling in your city? And I answered, I'll shoot him. I'm dead serious. If you do it again there, I'll shoot him. You steal 7 billion of the money of the people of the Republic of the Philippines, and you think you can be alive forever? I will take the cudgels. God, do not do it. I will never allow you to steal 7 billion of your taxes of the people. Sinabi ko. Then Jingo Estrada said, ano, sinabi niya? It was really in sarcasm. And I said, well, I'll give you an answer you want to hear. Patayin ko yan. I'll kill him. And so when we went outside the Senate halls at the termination of the hearing, Delima, whenever she is faces with the microphone on TV cameras, she changes the aura. Nag-iiba yung anyo. She becomes combative, and he said Duterte should be punished for Duterte should be sued for making a threat against the life of a resource person there. Forgetting, even as he's a lawyer, forgetting that nobody but nobody can question my behavior inside a Senate during a hearing. For it is only the Senate who can question me of what I do, of what I did, of what I'll be doing, because that is an affront of the Senate itself as a collegial body, not an outsider, even if you are the Secretary of Justice. Delima, I thought, was bright because she's a Secretary of Justice. But I realized that, I said, her aura changes from a Jekyll and Hyde thing. Forgetting the fundamentals of law. And out of respect, because you are now suggesting to the Senate to punish me. That is one implication. Second is implication, she cannot do it because she is not a member of the Senate. So she cannot sue me. That shows that how bright the Delima is.
Okay.
Follow-up.
Sige po.
And again, I left an answer that I made that gamble when I was, and I said to the congressman, impeach me if I'm wrong, impeach me if I'm lying. But Delima has to face this answer. She can remain the senator of the Republic of the Philippines, but she has to explain why she is not answering now her relationship with the driver, because that driver was the one who worked it out inside the penitentiary to allow these prisoners to have all of these privileges. Cooking shabu, opening the gates for female guests to come in, There was a partying, there was a raid, there were guns, and at one time, the guards could only enter upon the permission given by the inmates. That's why I said, send the combat troops. And if they go around rioting, shoot them all. I'd save money feeding criminals in this country. I'd rather give it to the poor and the hungry.
Yes, ma'am.
Follow
Follow-up
up.
question po.
Sir, follow up. Mayor.
Yeah.
In the same press conference, you said she got a call from the driver about a month ago, and he was afraid, and he supposedly expressed fear that that something would happen to him, and that he would be used as a witness against her.
So why would he be afraid? If there's nothing to hide, the predicate if afraid if he's going to be used. So why be afraid if there is nothing to hide? From the semantics itself, from the wordings itself, it's very loaded. Very loaded. You can really catch the. Why would she say that? That she is afraid that he would be used as a witness against her. Why give importance even to the statement if you have nothing there? You see that we're mentioning it at all. No, just say, well, I've never authorized you. I never gave you any authority over that. But what would you say about being afraid of being used as a witness? Delima we cannot use it as an evidence in court because that would be illegal. And I would not say I was the one who made the intercepts. It was given to us free by another country friendly to us. Even the ATM and the calls emanating from Muntinlupa to his driver. And I told Delima, I was listening to you. And if she would face me, kaming dalawa lang, the two of us, and I would tell her. Explain to me your immorality and explain to me your connection with the drug people. And why is it that during the birthday of one high-profile inmate, you went ahead inside with your driver and celebrating with the rest of the inmates a party inside the prison? She cannot deny it because there are pictures taken at that time. But she never, for a moment, even to just deny it. So what's it? You confirm one if it is true, and you confirm another if it is true and make it false. I have no quarrel with you. It was you who started this Rocos many years ago. You made yourself popular at my expense. So now that you are at the receiving end of all of this, you should not be heard complaining because there are serious matters already arrayed against you. Wait until we revisit the Napoles case, Secretary or Senator Delima. And I assure you, you will be horrified. Wait until that probe goes along, even in your own committee. Because I will start to mention the names of those you ought to subpoena and to appear there to testify. That the committee that is being headed by you. And of course, there's another parallel hearing being conducted at the lower house. You are in a bind. Please think it over, seriously. Do not open your mouth unnecessarily. Because by the words that you have framed, it's already defensive. That she is afraid, or he is afraid that he would be used as a state witness against you. So, why would you be afraid? There's a psychological it's just like saying, I am afraid that I'll be forced to tell the truth. Although forced, but still the truth. That's a problem. You know, because if I'm called, I'll be forced. Of course, it's forced. The subpoena is a force. You do not obey it, you're cited in contempt. And the other word is, I'll be forced to tell the truth. What gives?
Okay.
Any question?
Edith Regalado from the Philippine Star.
Good morning po, sir.
Why don't you take a seat and
What, sir? Hindi, mainit pa siya. Go out a lot. It's my
man,
cough.
I am comfortable answering you sitting down.
Ayan.
You don't have to stand up.
Kasi tumatayo ako, sir.
Ayan,
Sir,
dinilagay na. Be careful, there's a chair behind you.
yeah. Sir, that's my seat also. Sir, question lang po. At the start of your administration, you were saying something about giving informers or whoever the bounty of 5 million, 3 million down to 50,000 from big drug lords. So whatever happened to that bounty offer, sir?
Tapos na.
You've given some people?
Tapos
Or because you're the ones answering, you're the ones announcing, tapos na.
Tapos na. Ibig sabihin, ibigay na. Ano ba naman?
Okay. Sir, next question. In this whole with Delima, I wonder what end do you foresee in this whole thing? What would be the end?
You know, I was really appalled. I was horrified. I was the favorite peeping boy as the number one violator of human rights because of the so many criminals killed. And that matter was investigated by the UN. I don't know for the nth time again, and a rapporteur came here. So I told him, it is true that there are people killed in police operations. And for that, I assume full responsibility. Because I'm the head. Now, for those who are really killed in the drug war, in the rivalry to take up a prominent place somewhere there and there, do not include it. Especially about people being thrown inside a sack or a guy being wrapped with plastics. Why would we do that? What's the point of wasting our efforts? When a criminal is a criminal, and if he happens really to fight with the law, pag sabihin nila, then why is it that they always lose the gunfight? You know, my police department is not stupid. When the police go out or goes out to hunt, to apprehend those selling shabu every night, invariably, they are already paranoid because a constant use of shabu for 6 months, almost every day, would shrink the brain of a person. And I've told you, and many of you media men were there, almost on time to observe that they really are paranoid, sick with paranoia, and they are always armed. And even if you have a relative or a whatever, a friend who got hooked into drugs, you yourself would tell you that they are always somebody is following me, that my wife is cheating me, always. And these are a standard behavior. And they would go for it. So the police goes there out. They are 2 or 3. And of course, when you make a hostile gesture or you pull a gun, you're always killed. Because the people approaching you there are ready for a gunfight and we have the backup. I do not allow my police to go there alone. So today, of last count, the other day I lost 2 soldiers who were assisting the police. This time it is a police, day after. We lose about 2 policemen a day in connection with the drug campaign. So I would like to bring in that law expert, somebody, the crawler of the ABS-7 says that law expert, Duterte is not doing enough. I would invite her to come in and to hold his finger and begin to count the figures. And I would ask him, compare it to the previous administration. Same deaths, but these were the innocent children being killed, raped, victims of holdups and everything. This time, almost with the same number, but it is the criminals who are dying. You can hardly hear now of a student waylaid or a hold-up victim in the bus. And I would warn the criminals, do not do it. You will die. If you put up a good fight, these policemen are practiced to kill people if they have to. Because they are policemen. They are trained to shoot. Now, if you are just an ordinary, paranoid drug addict, it's better you'd be safe. That is the sad story. The Human Rights Commission, I don't know why, but they would insist in counting the dead criminals and never make a comparison of the dead victims, innocent people, law-abiding people being killed in the streets at the same time last year. So come here. You are complaining that there is no process. Okay, you guys, you're law expert of the United Nations. Come here. Come here and face me and make the accusations. And I will show you the statistics and I will hold your finger and teach you how to count. And if you cannot do that, be prepared to answer for my questions. And it will really be a sad story for both of us. You do not publish there with the NGOs about killing. You are publishing the side of the criminal. How about now publishing the side of government protecting people or preventing the killing of people, innocent victims? My job, ladies and gentlemen, and of the United Nations, my job as president is to protect the innocent, law-abiding citizens. I was never tasked by any law to protect the life of criminals. Why? 15 million plus or 16 million plus voted for me. I was given the biggest margin between me and my next opponent. I got 6 million margin. So why am I talking this way? It's the 15 million people talking to you. For after all, during the campaign, all I said was, I have a very limited issue, program of government. Even during the debates, 3 debates all across the country, I said I'll take care of graft and corruption, criminality and drugs. They gave me 15 million. At what margin? 6 million. So that I said, I will put at stake. It's so humbling that I said, I will serve you. People of the Philippines, I'll put at stake. I said, my honor, my life, and the presidency. Sleep on that thought, and you'd maybe understand me better. I was never born to protect evil. I was born in this universe to suppress evil. I was not raised by my parents. I did not go to Roman Catholic schools and Ateneo in San Beda and taught how to protect the evildoers. I grew up and taught by my parents to be on the side of fairness, to protect the good, and to take care of your country. I am now 71 years old. I am on my way to my sunset days. If I go to hell, I will bring all of these criminals with me. Just like what, may I repeat, it is a very, when I was a student of law, I copied this and wrote it just in first cover, then there's a clean page there. Then you have the title of the book and the author. And I copied it with the revised penal code. I copied it with my handwriting. I lost the book because there was a flood. I used to live but that was the only house that I can afford. I live beside the river. And all of you, you know it because you were there to cover that event. And I admire very much this man. Maybe next to my father, he's really my idol. And he said, if I were to try to read, much less answer all attacks made on me, this sharp presidency might as well be closed for any other business. I do the very best that I know how, the very best I can, and I mean to keep doing so until the end. If the end brings me out all right, what is said against me won't amount to anything. But if the end brings me out wrong, 10 angels of God swearing I was right would make no difference. I'd still be wrong. With that message, I'd say thank you for listening and I go home.
Okay.
Marami pa ba?
Last two from Edith Caduaya of Rappler, and then Tricia Tirada of CNN
Sir,
after.
clarification, Mayor. Will the vacancies at the LTO and LTFRB include the cabinet secretaries? Will there be vacuum of leadership?
Look, I cannot go after each and every one of them. It would take, I said, if I will answer all the attacks made on me. If I go there every day, I would not have time to be president and sit there and make crucial decisions for the country. So I will declare all the positions. There are the assistant. There's always a deputy or even the first clerk. They can take over until such time I decide whether I will dispose of you or not. But you do not. I gave you a warning, the Filipino people. Stop it. I promise the people, the 16 million, I will give you a clean government. It will be clean, and it would maybe along the way costs the employment of some who are really corrupt. If I go there once, twice, and still I hear about complaints, and if you are a presidential appointee, meaning to say, I appoint you, or you were appointed by the previous president, but the appointing authority has the power to appoint and the power to dismiss without any reason except that loss of confidence in your ability to deliver your mandate.
Follow-up, sir. They're saying that there's a procedural problem and a systemic problem within the two agencies which cannot just be corrected, sir.
It's a problem that's in the system and the structures, maybe the functioning or the aberration in the system or the flow of that work. I really won't mind. But if you are there to commit corruption day in, day out, please get out.
Thank you.
Okay, Tricia.
Hi, sir. Good evening. Sir, you mentioned earlier about you monitoring some conversations made or calls made
No,
inside.
I did not. I said I heard.
Okay.
We do not have that. We do not have that capacity. It was done by a friendly country, which I cannot reveal for the simple reason is that I just cannot reveal it. But, wiretapping in this country is illegal, unlawful, and there is a penalty for that. But if you just happen to hear, and it is not to your doing, we do not have that kind of thing that you siphon from the space there outside conversations of human mortals in this place, in this planet.
Sir, second question about the Napoles investigation. What could be now, sir, the fate of the senators implicated in it? Ano po yung possible na mangyari given the information we have
Well, I
now so
said
far?
they might as well because it is connected with drugs.
You might as well what, sir?
You might as well allow it. I mean, I'm referring to the committee on the lower house. Itong sa Senate drugs. Ito naman, it's open to corruption. Wala, drugs, problem, and corruption in government. So you might as well include it. The word corruption is there. So why limit? Go ahead and let the chips fall as they may.
Okay, last question from Jonathan Miller.
Yes, sir. May I help you?
Mr. Mayor, Mr. President, at the risk of being shot down, the numbers of people who have been killed on the streets of the Philippines since you came to power 6 weeks ago have risen to around 1,000. Now, I know you have been contemptuous of your critics, but they are accusing you of unleashing a national death squad. Where is this going to end? Because some are
Very
saying
good.
that the social fabric of the Philippines is at risk here.
Good. That's a very good question. Because at the other past, in the distant past, no police was ever willing to really work and risk his life. You know, it was a practice before. That's why I said I take full responsibility. You know why? Because they are now encouraged and even brave enough to have a shootout. The standard practice in this system of government is that when you accuse him, they would always file a countercharge and say that there's due process or that they were unarmed and anything, any answer that could give a leverage. And ordinarily, and you can check this out in the courts, they have to use that leverage against the poor policeman. Now, remember in this country, no lawyer is provided for the policemen and the other men and the security officers when they get into trouble with the law. They are left at the mercy on their own. That was the policy before and in the previous ones. They are left behind. So when I was mayor, I told them, go ahead, do your duty. But if you feel that you're in carrying out your duty, you will get killed. My God, shoot him first. And they were protected here, and there were cases filed, and I provided the lawyer. And for the time that they are suspended, that is why they are afraid. They face charges in court, then at the same time, when they are accused, they lose the job because they are suspended. And for the time that they are suspended, and the hearing of cases can take you to eternity, as slow as it can ever be, the family is not without food.
But with respect, sir, you as a lawyer know
Yes.
better than any of us how important this principle of innocent until proved
Well,
guilty is.
Look, Padilla said 2 years ago, there are 3 million addicts in this country. That was the last figure. Nobody cared to find out. Now it's my time. So, 2 years ago, between 2 years ago and now, how many do you think were hooked into drugs? Let us give it incremental increase of about, just be liberal about 700,000. So 3,700,000. And the confirmed 600,000 now was surrendered and took the test for drug addiction. How do you call it? Just a problem? Is it just a police problem? Or is it really a crisis for this country? It's not even epidemic, my friend. It is pandemic. So what am I supposed to do as a president? Empower the military and the police, for after all, they are there to protect the integrity and preserve the people of the Philippines.
At the risk of gun law, sir.
It can happen. It happens in America. They're shooting the blacks there. It shows on TV. It shows on TV. What's the difference between America and the Philippines? Nothing. So what is surprising here is surprising to us. We see policemen, they're shooting a black guy there. How many times had it happened in the past? That's why you have the violent demonstration. So, would it surprise you and me? Almost the same. 1 case only, 3 cases here. So what? It involves the same principle. Say, for every 1 black there dead, you have about 5 here. And so, does it make this world more livable because there is less killing? When you shoot a black there dead, what is that? Is that not appalling? When you bomb Syria and Iraq and you kill communities and you kill children and old people and hospital, what is it? And why is it that United States is not doing anything? I do not read anybody in that stupid body complaining about the stench there of that. Look at the iconic boy that was taken out from the rubble. And he was made to sit in the ambulance, and we saw it. So what's the difference? Life of a criminal, or maybe he was really rubbed out. We cannot discount it. But what do you think that the Americans did to the black people there? Is that not rubbing out also? I say, well, it was just one community there, one state of America. Well, but you have there about 10. So what's the difference? Are we here for the counting or the basic principles of human rights? Almost the same.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Sir, last question from Doris daw.
Sir, yung balik tayo kay Delima, yung sa sinabi niya, meron na po ba kayong mga nakalinya o meron na kayong kinakausap na mga to strengthen your case against her, na mga preso o warden who would testify against Delima? And are you or are your agencies making efforts to track down the driver and to get him as a witness?
No, I will not do that. She knows where her lover is, so leave her at that. What we have is the intercept, but the intercepts cannot be used in evidence. That's illegal. Meaning to say, you can do the intercept, but it cannot be allowed in evidence in court. But in this, the recto law here says that you cannot even try it. But that was the time when we were using landlines. It's now free. It's a free enterprise now with the advent of digital age. You can siphon any of the conversation. China is doing it. America is doing it. Great Britain is doing it. Everybody is doing it with the power to listen. They have the machines. There's a law. You cannot prevent them. But then, you cannot use it in court because it would not be acceptable. So if I just listen and say to you, and say I cannot reveal it, you must remember that I signed an executive order without waiting for Congress, the right to information. And in that executive order, I allowed everybody to even to look at the diapers in Malacanang. You have now the access to all documents you need to know if there is corruption or not. And that is my desire to do away with corruption. Now, can I now go to court and file a case? No. That is not my job. My job is in the higher, the president shall do everything in his power to protect public interest. As president, I got this information being a privilege as a president, but I am not required to prove it in court. That is somebody else's business. Okay? So, that's one. The second is, I have every right now to tell you, because you were the one, the media, bugging me several times. We met in Cotabato, everywhere you were. So, who is the next mayor, senator that you will reveal connected with drugs? I said, there is one. And I told you, wait, because I have to do something about this. First of all, you have to ask the permission from the country who provided it to just mention it without naming. But that country is really also mad at Delima because it's involved in drugs. Every country is mad. At, even China, they even execute people. Indonesia, Malaysia, they hang them. Philippines have been asking for the restoration of the death penalty. So, if I were a soldier, I'll give you a classic case. I am a soldier. I'm assigned at Holo, Basilan, fighting the Abu Sayyaf. I work very hard for this country. Then my salary is given to my wife. She sets up the house, send the school children. While I am fighting to preserve democracy in this country, he knows now, suddenly, that his daughter got raped. That his daughter got killed because of the drugs addict. Tell me now, because this is really what happened. If I were the lawyer, if I were the soldier, if I go back to see the child raped, my daughter raped, dead, stiff, dead, inside the coffin. And they said that he was raped by those people. What do you think I will do? I will ask the president permission. Mr. President, I have to kill these people. So why is it widespread? You know, when generals are involved already, when everybody, almost all of the policemen in Region 4, there are 400 all in all, 100 in the same town. 600, 100 only in one town. How do you cope up? Policemen into drugs. And so that is why you see many policemen are also killed in police operations. Because he does not surround himself unless he's a drug lord. So, policemen are there. The Middle East guys, 3 million of our fellow human beings, they're Filipinos. One father is working in Qatar, the other is working in Saudi Arabia. They work their ass to death to send money, only to discover during one of the rare visits that they are allowed to realize that the son is already hooked in Shabu and is longer crazy. Does the lives of 10 criminals really matter to me? If I am the one facing the grief, would 100 lives of this idiot would mean anything to me? Almost all of the policemen in in Region 4, there are 400 all in all, 100 in the same town. 600, 100 only in one town. How do you cope up? Policemen into drugs. And so that is why you see many policemen are also killed in police operations. Because he does not surround himself unless he's a drug lord. So, policemen are there. The Middle East guys, 3 million of our fellow human beings, they're Filipinos. One father is working in Qatar, the other is working in Saudi Arabia. They work their ass to death to send money, only to discover during one of the rare visits that they are allowed to realize that the son is already hooked in Shabu and is longer placing. Does the lives of 10 criminals really matter to me? If I am the one facing the grief, would 100 lives of this idiot would mean anything to me? I was a prosecutor once, but if somebody raped my daughter because he was hooked into drugs and killed my daughter, my God, I will kill you. Let it be known to everybody.
Sir.
You despoil the body of my child. Then you expect me just to kill 3 because there are 100. Okay, I'll just kill 3. Because that would be a fair exchange of lives here. Can you measure an anger? If I were a policeman, you killed my son. If I were a soldier, you killed my wife and family, you'd wipe them out. You know. Could I measure that anger by just about maybe 200 lives? Even the Americans taught us it's good. Charles Bronson, he was it Death Wish? Or what was the movie about? He was a cop, he was a vigilante, just like Clint Eastwood. They reflect, actually, they are the mirrors of life. They mirror the lives of everybody.
Do you mirror Duterte Harry, sir?
Do what?
Duterte Harry.
No, in the sense that I do not believe the crusading justice there. It's far different. He has his own duty as oath to protect. Mine is a larger. I have to protect a country. He simply is appalled, and he has pity to the fellow Americans who die needlessly in the hands of. They are law-abiding citizens. They do not carry arms because they obey the law. And yet they are waylaid, they are killed for nothing. They are being, there's a stick up, and you see, there's a camera there, there's a lady going out of the apartment, and she ends up dead. So, on the average, that policeman has that paradigm of, what's happening to this fucking thing? Then, the serial rapists are sent to jail. After 2 years, they are allowed to go out. Then they go out, they look for houses with open windows. Nobody's there except the daughters or the children. He goes into the room, carries the child, brings her to the nearby woods, and what is true there is true here. The mirror of life is portrayed before us. That's what I'm saying. If it's my character, no. It is not an original trait. I have my faith to follow. I've been telling everybody, you cannot build a nation over the bones of your citizens. But with the crisis of 3 million plus the 500 that are now addicted, what kind of mirror do you want to portray your anguish and anger? Let us be clear on that. But you might think, so what are you? My friend, I am a human being. I know how to get angry. I should know how I would get soft. I know how to pity. And I know how to have a rage in me. How do I react? Well, it all depends. If it's my daughter, I'll kill you. If just an ordinary citizen, I'm privileged because what? Because my children and I, we are protected by the Presidential Security Command. Even my children are protected. But I wish I could go around just like other times when I was mayor. Everybody here, I drive a taxi. And I wait for the hold-upper to really do the hold-up to me. Why? Because if I kill him, then there's one less kidnapper or hold-upper in the city. I used to go around because I was really hunting for them. But I do not go out just because of killing people. How about lives? My God. Syria, 6 years hence, suffered bombings and everything, and yet you hear this UN expert that Duterte is not doing enough. No, I'll ask you, when is enough enough? For a problem with 3 million addicts, and in our control and our custody, 600,000. What am I supposed to? Do I have the money? You know, these guys, they ask, like the United Nations, why are there no, what are you doing this? You know, the Philippines does not have that money, just like the United States and the EU. I came midstream. Remember that mid-year, the money was already gone. I am faced with this gargantuan problem of dealing with this. But the program is there. You cannot get out of that budget. It's yearly. So where do I get the money from this budget? They are all programmed. If you get some money out, then you rob Peter by paying Paul. You deprive this one department with their money. So because there is a need for that immediately. So you rob whatever is programmed for the people, you rob Peter to pay Paul. For you to build. Even in matter of space, I have ordered the military to provide the space. Because there is really no space. If you just put it at 100,000 per region, there are 13, 14 regions here, including the arm. Place it at 1,000 in one region, 100,000. Where do I get the money to buy the beds, blankets, pillows, water, building, doctors, medicines, and nurses? It's not that easy. And you worry about the lives of 600, 500. You must remember that those who are already in Shabu for almost 1 year, they are dead. They are the living, walking dead. They are of no use to society anymore. And yet we have to sequester them. We have to feed them because they're human beings. And we need money. And where do we get the money? We collect taxes to support government. The taxes that we collected were programmed already for the previous year to run this government. I entered the presidency halfway. So the taxes are programmed here. I cannot collect taxes and spend it. This is a democracy. Judiciary, legislative, presidency, all co-equal. I have to get the authority from Congress. There is no such thing as a supplemental budget in the national. No such thing as then you have to wait. Maybe you borrow. But then again, if you borrow, you need Congress. That's how it is complicated in a democracy. It's not because you are the president, you can order this immediately, stop it. How about the persons who have an axe to grind? 600, 600. How many parents and persons and sisters and brothers are hell mad at them? Then you presume that what's the order of the police because you want to catch them all. And you think it's only the police who are interested. Of course the police is interested to apprehend you. And maybe they would really enjoy you if you put up a good fight. Because the police there will not go alone. When they go there around to ask to arrest these people, they are already positioned. So when this guy, a poor guy, with this idiotic mind would pull out a gun, he's dead. And that is why I said, why is it that in every apprehension, no police? God, I said we are losing. I just lost one police today. Maybe another statistics. By tomorrow, I would be able to gauge. With the CAFGO, the paramilitary units got killed in confrontation with drugs. It is flooding the country. With the help of the PNP guys, the generals, it has spread to every nook and corner of my country. As a matter of fact, under other countries with this kind of pandemic, they would have declared martial law. That's why Thaksin, the premier of Thailand, in one day he killed 3,000, piled them up in the truck alive, until they all suffocated. The ones on the middle died because of suffocation, because they were placed there and were told to lie down so that they would not be able to jump out. But I see no outrage. Well, 3-4 days, maybe BBC, CNN, but after that, all is forgotten. Here, there was this child, in my city, I was still mayor. There was a reunion party in the family. The elder sister was carrying the newly born child. Here comes the brother, without them knowing what was happening to this. Said, oh, let me carry my new niece. In the merrymaking, he disappeared. Then there was a frantic search. 100 away sa riverbank, it was in Manduk. The riverbank, they found a child, 18 months old, with their abdominal cavity wide open. So, death of this child, 200 criminals, or at least those who fought against the police. Is there any rhyme or reason to say, how about the lives keep on piling? How about the child? You know, I am forced to not really, I'm just saying that you forget the law. Forget the United Nations. Forget your outrage. It is misplaced. Now I tell you now, by what right do you have in this universe to cook shabu, feed it to my children, and destroy their lives forever? I spent money, time. Here in the Philippines, the police is eternally tied to the 5-6. It is 20% per week. That is the tragedy of it all. So, I borrow money. Every enrollment time, I go to the GSIS, and it does not come because of the efficiency of this. I am also warning everybody. And I said, all those appointed, including the heads of financial institutions, consider yourself resigned. Now, you go to this GSIS, you apply for a salary loan during enrollment time. It's either no money or it is not acted upon for 3 months. Long after enrollment or classes had already started. You know that. Some of you are, we are not the sons and daughters of well connected and had money. And my mother was a teacher. She used to borrow money. The application sometimes let alone not acted or comes late. So you are forced to go to this Indian moneylenders that use your slates. So I said, here is an 18-year-old child, precious human being, have not sinned because she's an infant, have not done anything, any wrongdoing at all, and she's dead. And you say that the policeman has so far of what, 400, and you grieve. Here in Syria, it's bombing there everywhere, child and everything, dying. Nobody's complaining. It was not only after the child was placed inside the ambulance. And that picture became iconic because it was really the result of a ruthless ruler. If you were, maybe, if you're the president, then you go about declaring martial law and killing political enemies. Then I would be satisfied, really happy to by answering your question. What did I do for this country? I released all the political prisoners. In other countries, they are slaughtered. We are promoting peace. We are thanking Oslo for the good offices that they are providing. I'm talking to them, I'm talking to the men. But I've ordered our police to crush. My order against Abu Sayyaf, if you want to know, destroy them. So when you are a soldier, when you ask me questions, why did you order to destroy them? And I would say to you, never mind, I will not answer you. I will not destroy your innocence in this world. Answer the question yourself. You carry on your business slaughtering people in front of the public. What do you deserve? By what right do you have to cook shabu? There are laws. Why don't you just follow the law? You violate the law. You distribute your product. Make our children crazy. Our investment. Now, why? Human nature. Let me lecture. Why? Because we are poor. We cannot afford these houses where we send our parents, old parents, that caregivers and home care. I am not that rich. I have enough money to sustain me in the hospital and maybe the oxygen but it could not last for 1 year. Given maybe 4 months. The best equipment and the best everything. After that, zero. If I get paralyzed, who will feed me? Like any other family, who will feed me with the spoon, with my mouth hanging open? Who would buy the oxygen for me? If I get diabetes, hypertension, cancer, who will buy it? I am happy I'm happy if my wife gives birth to about 3-4, that's the average of the Filipinos now. Because I know that when my time comes to be old, they will take care of me. You destroy me with drugs, who take care of me? You destroy me in advance. Now, I ask the question, do I have the right to destroy you? In advance also. So that nothing of the sort will happen to other families. If we have only one son, one daughter, there's a lot of criminals now because there are many people roaming around. They have to have this fixed, or else Now, my other son is killed. My daughter is not that successful. So when I lay there dying, nobody even feeds me. And I walk the streets, just like in America. There are a lot of guys there. They slipped out. We do not do it in the Philippines. Even how poor we are, you do not need much of old people roaming around. Because however poor we are, we always take care of our. If that is, if this, it's only the food that's available, then we give it to our children or to our mothers. We can even go hungry. Feed the child first, then if the mother or father old, already old, wheelchair bound, we feed them. Never mind us. Can't always take the leaves and put some salt there. That every Filipino is sick with kidney. We use so much because to tide us with the taste of the food that it's only us can afford. Next question.
Mr. President, yeah. Sir, just to clarify, yung government appointed positions that you just declared vacant po, all departments po yan, not just LTFRB and LTO.
No, yes. Government.
Sir, including cabinet positions, sir, cabinet secretaries?
Hindi ka doon. Kakaaga namang makurap yan. Yan.
So-
buwang umalis.
Okay. So pagdating ng Monday, sir, declared vacant na po yan, how will the government function then, sir, by Monday?
Sample lang yung deputy. Bakit pa kami mag-appoint ng assistant kung just like me? If I go today, you look for Robredo. That is how we work. If you lose the president tonight, then you go to the house of Robredo and ask it to report. Ikaw, yung manager ninyo, yung station manager, if she gets cracks up, then there's the assistant manager or the most senior. Just like that. So what's the problem? That's why we have the bureaucracy.
But you mentioned, sir, about 1,000 positions po yan, sir.
Sobra yan. Sobra yan. Pero unahin ko ito. I want that LTFRB to report at his convenience maybe this week.
Sir, what if you'll find out that those who are in career positions are causing this problem, sir? Will you allow them to be transferred?
If a rule is enforced, it must be enforced against all or none at all.
In GSIS, sir, you haven't appointed a GSIS manager yet. How will this affect the situation, sir?
Well, I'm waiting. I'm really in a hurry. Next line na sila. Andito ako sa undersecretaries. There's always one appointed every day. Di man ako nagmamadali.
Okay. Ayan, Melihol.
There are departments and agencies na hindi ko pinalitan. Simply because the performance is at par with the rest of the best of the employees there.
Ayan, Melihol.
Sir, another issue. 12 midnight, ceasefire with Communist Revolutionary Forces took effect.
When will it start? Tonight?
Kaganing.
12 midnight.
No. You know, I motu proprio, I declared the ceasefire first, but I lifted it because I thought that there was no way we can, because despite of my declaration, some soldiers were waylaid and some died. So I must confess that I was disgusted, so I lifted it. Now that they are imposing the ceasefire, I will have to ask the military, are you safe around already? I will have to ask them because they are the ones dying for us. We cannot just go without consulting. I lifted it, but they knew that it was coming. I mean, they knew that I was thinking about, because I wanted to show my good faith. That was all there is to it. I wanted to show good faith and declared a ceasefire. But somehow, along the way, soldiers were being killed in ambuscades everywhere. And so I got fed up. And I said, you guys, if you're not willing even to just avoid each other, what I would have wanted them was really just to avoid each other so that there will be no violence. Problem is, I said, the soldiers were killed in along the way, and I said, no. Now, as to whether when I will declare the ceasefire, I will have to consult the Defense Secretary and the commanding generals of the Navy, Army, and even the police, Air Force, and would tell them, are you safe, or would it be safe for a country now to declare a ceasefire? Vis-a-vis with the government, or with the Communist Party of the Philippines. Because if I feel that it's not, then it's not high time really to do it. Give me an assurance. What I would like to see really is for the two panel, government and the Communist Party, already talking over substantial issues. No problem with me. I said to show good faith and that we wanted really peace, desperately, for this country. And I've been successful in convincing guys of the MN to just come to a negotiating table and talk. So my problem now is the Abu Sayyaf, who's been, every time Abu Sayyaf does that thing, you put to shame the country. And I can only, since I am the president, I can only suffer that much. I hope I do not have to go there to destroy them. But there will be no negotiation, no forgiveness, no nothing. Crimes against humanity to do such a thing. And just like in the Middle East, they burn 20 women simply because they refused. She refused to have sex with them. If you place me there, then that scenario that you are afraid of that I will do will really happen. If I were a commander of the forces there, my orders would really be, go in and you go out. I do not want to see anybody standing there. Given that kind of situation. Here, the biggest hula-baloo here is the drug problem. That's what I said. Who gave you the right to cook shabu? Feed it to my family. I will ask again the shabu people, who gave you the right for those crazy guys? What have I done to you as a father of the child or the mother? What have we done to you? Why do you do this to our children? Anong kasalanan namin? Anong nagawa namin sa iyo? What have we done to you to do this to me and to my children and to my daughter and to my son who is already crazy? Remember, I went in warning everybody. I said it could be bloody because I knew that the police would now be equipped with a certain mindset that they will be protected by law if they go in and have this, you have this violent confrontation. Because before they were afraid of these human rights, and a lot of them lost their jobs because they could not even have a lawyer to defend themselves. You know, your Philippine journalism knows that. You know very well that it has happened and it will happen, but not during my time. If you are in police, you are into kidnapping, drugs, look at what happened. So you end up dead. Because you're a police, you have armed, maybe you does not, nobody does would give a hoot between if you are dead or alive. You will, I told the police, and that was my statement, you will be the first to get it. Because there will be a confrontation, because I will insist on the police to go after you. Time was that nobody really wanted to do it. Remember, I was not yet sworn in as president. There was this party in Pasay. They distributed drinks that was a deadly mix of chemicals. 5 young men and women died. So nobody was really, except for the reporting, nobody was there to order. And I got mad, and I said, putang ina ninyo. You just wait if I become the president. You will prepare to move out because I will assign you to fight with the Abu Sayyaf or feed you to the mouths of Abu Sayyaf, if that is what it takes. So these officials, these LT regulatory bodies, be prepared to be assigned in Hulo or in Basilan. I was there. So nobody moves there without a gun. And so you deserve the ambience. Enjoy the environment. You have only yourself to blame for being corrupt. I told you before, I was very emphatic. Stop your drug now. Stop corruption now, or you will suffer. Do I have to make myself more clearer with that? So the next time you find something, they're dead. And the police say that he was killed in a shootout. I'll just have to take the word for it. Anybody was not doing. I said, I'm reminding you of that Pasay incident. Before I got mad, tell me now who was operating there to solve the crime. Okay? You ask the Pasay, they say that is the jurisdiction of the narcotics. And if you ask the PDEA, they would say that it's the police there within their UR. You see how they were fucking the Filipino. Nobody would take jurisdiction, and nobody would. I said, God. Or maybe because it was the police themselves doing it, and so nobody was interested because they would not fight. If General was there, just like Luot, or how can you be effective during the time of corruption of Luot? He's a police general. He's a millionaire. He's enjoying. He's swallowing in his filth of his riches there, and he has filed a statement of assets and liabilities, 100 million pesos. What is your business to have this 100 million pesos? Those are the declared. How about the undeclared? The liquid cash. Those stored in your basement. So, what's the use of the police? Because the police were not there. And Lord said, anybody in my region conducting a police punitive operation regarding drugs, must report to me first. So when the police went there inside the warehouse, nobody was there. There were the residue of the taken from the drums of the precursors of Shibu. So, drugs flooded this country. And that is why we have 3 million. And that is why we have now in custody 600 million and still wondering what to do about it. Now, there are countries offering to help. And I appreciate it. China has said, we will help. I said, thank you. And they said, just point out the place and we will help you build it. So, I told the Chinese, we will remember you for all time, for the things that you're doing for us. They were the first country to offer it, actually. Let me be very clear. They offered only the materials that we will use. Do not connect it with the other topic that we were discussing earlier. You know, sometimes journalism can take
Mayor, I would just like to go back to the ceasefire topic.
it's a long way again, going back. So we travel again.
Okay.
Sige,
Mayor,
okay.
Mayor, kasi po, nag-declare na rin ang kabila, ang red ng ang kanilang sariling unilateral ceasefire effective today, August 21. Apo, I just want to hear a comment from from you
It
po.
is not yet 21.
21 na po.
Ngayon?
Opo.
Your watch is maybe made in... No, China is good. You know, maybe made somewhere in, let's put it, Africa. They have not yet mastered the art of time making. Well, I said I was the first to show good faith. I would insist that it was my only intention there. And it was reciprocated by a lot of ambuscades by the left. I really would not know whether it is true or false. I as of this time, my not mine, but the soldiers at my command actually, the soldiers are operating still in all places in the republic. I still have to, this time I will consult, I said, the military and the police. It would only be proper. Kasi nung nag-declare ako ng ceasefire, namatayan sila. So, napahiya ako. O, sabi nyo, tignan mo, Mayor, ano ka kasi dyan. No? Tignan mo ngayon, namatayan kami. Ganon yan eh. So, it's a matter of, at the end of this story now, it's a matter of sincerity. Is it for good? Is it true? What? Well, I said I have to see the two groups talking together in a table, facing each other, talking about some substantive issues. One that would promote rather than divide this country. I am willing to walk the extra mile. Just to, even if it's the only one that I would be able siguro to, I would be happy to retire. I will retire. I said, go ahead. I'm urging everybody, go ahead with the federal seat. I told the congressman there, madalian ninyo. Go ahead and, I have a 6-year term granted by the Constitution. But if you can arrive at a consensus and give us a setup within 3 years of federalism, then you have to elect a president of which I would be disqualified under that I would give way. No need to give me a transition period. After 3 years, I would be happy to retire. I said, I'm here to offer my honor, my life, and the presidency itself. Marami na ngayon ang ibig na
Mike, please. Mike, please.
I'd like to ask if the DAPICOL has been investigated for possible operations of illegal drugs. Recently, there were 3 Chinese detainees killed. Were they involved in illegal drugs?
So I do not even know report that there are Chinese killed.
Okay, sir.
Has there been any investigation, sir?
Of course, where is it? There's only when a person dies or persons die, there has to be an investigation somewhere. Where is that? Yung ano?
What about the possible illegal drugs operations within the DAPICOL, sir?
There is no drugs there. Penal colony. Sa munting lupa lang yun.
Okay, sir.
Baka nag-riot siguro. Walang ano diyan. Wala sa penal colony. Malayo 'yan. Walang operation sa drugs, operation but not emanating from there. One thing is sure, I can tell you now, there is no shabu being cooked in the penal colony.
Sir,
Davao, ha?
The CIDG 11 claimed that there are drug transactions happening in Lapicol.
Well, gustong pumasok, pero yung nagsabi nagluluto, no. Hardly. Wala ka. Paano man i-deliver saan man? It's not being manufactured here. Baka siguro gamit yung puslitan, pero that would not be enough really to cause a riot there somewhere. There has to be some other reason. But I'll ask the police there.
Okay, sir, going back to the left po, with the historical release of that Yamson couple, when can we expect more political prisoners to be released? And kumusta na ba talaga yung relationship with the government and the left, considering
No.
na binawi nila yung support against illegal drugs?
Bakit? Nasali ba sila talaga noon rin?
Well,
I have not heard of any accomplishment carried out by the communists against the drug people. The closest that I can really link drugs is what happened in China before. When opium was sold to the Chinese population by the British, who had the exclusive franchise of. Whether it took many centuries to correct that because a lot of Chinese were also hooked into opium use, addiction. Itong sa, ano yun, Tiamson?
political prisoners po,
Si
when can we
Tiamson?
expect more po?
Ganito yan. Tama na muna yan. I released 20. Now, if you think that I will release all prisoners in PAs already in custody, di wag na lang tayong mag-usap kasi release naman sila. Ano pa ang baraha ko? Wala na. O di, peace na lang. Total, na-release naman kayo. Yung mga ang gusto ninyo. So what is there to talk about? The only thing is that when is the time of surrender? Do you want this republic to surrender to them? Or the NPA is the communist surrendering to us? No, I will not release yung key personalities, like the Tiamson. Iyon ang nagdadala. They are really the ones there.
Sir, everybody's asking, can you see an away-bati relationship between the left and the government? Kasi parang ganun yung nangyayari.
Left and
And the government, and you, and your administration, parang away-bati relationship yung medyo
Okay ba?
nagaganap.
Marami man akong sundalo. Ano po problema niyo? May aeroplano ako, may Navy ako, Air Force, may police pa ako. No. I'm really very comfortable with the left. And are you here in Davao or Manila?
I'm from PTV po. I'm Lala Babylonia from PTV. I replaced the other.
You're now based in Davao.
No po, for 15 days lang, rotation.
Well, because if you're a Davao journalist, you would know that I go in and out of, I usually bring but the communists would always invite people from media to witness the turnover of a captive soldier or whatever. I just want to be there to talk to them. The last time that we had really a confrontation, it was a shouting match many years ago. But Inday, the mayor had hers also one time. Comfortably ako, we're not really, I said, I am a left center ako. I believe in the aspects of socialism. The problem with this NPAs is they are socialists by spirit. But the problem is they organized a party, the Communist Party of the Philippines, with only one objective, to seize power by armed struggle. That is not acceptable to me at all. I said, I told them that there was this party that they were trying to organize right after Aquino won the presidency. And it was called the Partido ng Bayan. Well, I and Bebot Belio went there to join because we said we believe our philosophy, ideological lines run along that line. Socialism but when I noticed that the hardcore were coming in, I told Belio na we better get out. It's not what I really wanted for my country. So, hindi talaga ako pwede dyan sa ano. But we are comfortable with each other because when we talk, we share the same passion. Land reform, lifting the, contractualization, all of these things. It's despicable to me to be changing. Sabi niya, the only justification is, marami itong trabaho because another set of, wag na lang kasi I do not want to, stupid theory. There was no security of tenure for Filipinos. We spend millions to train them sa TESDA. And when you find job for the first time as a carpenter, the next job he would get is a electrician. So when he was programmed to be an electrician, he ends up being a driver. So he does not acquire the expertise that he was trained for at the expense of government. And then even you go out of the Philippines, there's always it's 2 years experience. So,
Mayor, last lang. Point of clarification. Secretary Duterte just announced the restoration of unilateral ceasefire.
yes, sa August 21.
So ngayon, 21 Mayor.
Kaya di dyan, kanina, kahapon pa yan.
So restored siya, sir.
That statement was given yesterday. Oh, but August 21 na ba kahapon? Ito.
It will take effect on 21 according to the statement. 12 midnight po.
Kanina.
As of now, effective na siya.
I'll have to talk to the armed forces and the police.
Sir, sorry,
Sila yung namamatay, sila yung nagipag-away. Tapos hindi mo bigyan ng importansya. Yes.
Sir, just to follow up again on the phone calls, can you just at least please describe the conversation, sir?
No. Of course not.
Sir,
I only listened to it once, but what I mostly heard were lovers talk. I am sure you would not be interested to hear it.
Sir,
Because chismosa ka talaga pagka ganun.
sir, I just have a quick question, sir. On the Napoles case that you would like to have,
To revisit?
no, sir, to have a second look on it, sir.
Oh, so
How do you
revisit, I
plan
said.
to start it, sir? Thank you.
What again?
Yung Napoles case, sir.
Yes.
You plan to have a second look on it.
Yes, I
How do you
said
plan
let
to-
us revisit maybe I'll have something for the Filipino too. Kasi, alam mo, ang hinahabol natin ito, graft and corruption. I thought we were agreed when you voted for me. I know you voted for me. Because, basta because. Because lang. I know you voted for me. And our deal is that we have stopped corruption, drugs, and criminality. So it is just maybe, well, the Pandora's box really is itong kanya. She started to say that, you could have just go ahead with your, bakit pangalanan mo pa ako, o do you, Duterte, you follow me? Because sundan mo itong investigasyon. So I followed her. Now, I stumbled again on ito. Isali mo na sa investigation ito. Because it was when Muntinlupa was opened that drugs came and out of the National Penitentiary. Whether it was made clear by the driver to Amo, but if that money was passing hands, masyadong bobo ka naman, di ba? Saan mo galing itong pera to? Parang, sige lang, basta wala akong alam dyan. Ganun yan eh. That's the usual. Bahala na kayo, basta ako walang alam. So, itong driver, sabihin niya that I'm afraid that I will be called to testify. Bakit ka mag-afraid? Afraid to just tell the truth? Or maybe afraid to just tell a lie? Which is which? Sabihin niyo totoo, magkabulgara niya. Sabihin niyo pasinungaling, pag mahuli siya, he goes to jail again. So ano ang takot niya? Afraid to tell the truth? Or maybe to deny the truth. Sabi mo lang, patawa ka, o sige. O mayor ako. Di ba sabi nila, gusto nila ko imbestigahin sa Congress? Go ahead. Call me and I will. So, what's wrong about giving orders to shoot to kill? I cannot give an order, shoot, but be sure that he's alive. Crazy. Oh, shoot, but make sure that he's alive. And then the police would just say, I'd rather shoot you, Mayor, for giving us a stupid instruction. Wanted, dead or alive. Yeah. If you die there, wanted, okay. If you're alive, then explain to me why you did this thing. You cannot blow it by just, those words were not invented by the Filipinos. Remember, those words were invented by the marshals, the cowboy marshals of the United States. Reward, shoot to kill. Then we copied it. We are bad, they are good. They never made an apology for teaching us the words shoot to kill, reward. We got it from the movies and they sometimes use it against the terrorists. She's danger, would say that be careful because he's in danger, he's got firearms. So sunod-sunod lang tayo ng Amerikano tapos tayo ngayon ang masama. What you suppose, you gave the orders to shoot to kill. Yes, but because the Americans use it, why can't I use it? They taught us English to understand words, so we understand it to be this way. Shoot to kill. Or maybe I will just make a deviation there. Sure, but be shoot, but be sure he's alive. If he's dead, you get into the newspaper, then UN will come again and ayaw ko kasi because, you do not do that because you are interfering in the sovereignty of a country. I am now really very serious. Do not take away by just giving a stupid explanation because you are infringing into the territory of the sovereignty of the country. What would it be to you if I go to the UN and start lecturing to the employees there? You should do this, you should not do that. And I say, hey guy, this is the UN. This is the United Nations. And so, are you really united? United Nations. When was a United Nation ever really united? They could not control America, they could not control Russia, they could not control the bombings, they could not even plan of how. The problem with this UN is they send UN troops to protect the population. So the war goes out of control. So there's a little fighting, they started, and then the contending parties come in and fight a real war, slaughtering people, and they are not able to stop it. So the United Nations starts a war, but does not know how to end it. That's the problem. Alam nila kung paano mag-umpisa ng gera. Hindi naman nila alam kung paano tapusin. When Iraq was being invaded, on the very slim excuse that there were weapons of mass destruction, they were not able to stop the United Nations. Maybe you're guessing, guys. The truth has really come out. There was none at all. So, what happened to the country? The United Nations never stopped it. It allowed a war to start. Now they are climbing here and there to stop it. And you come and interfere in my country because there are now criminals killed or even people killed. There is not even a judicial finding that these guys were innocents or these guys were really the gangster. And you just count the bodies there and say that, the United Nations must come in. My God, do you really know what you are doing? Isinali pa siya yung presidente to give a word because you rely on the NGOs. And there is a lady there who keeps on also prodding people. Pilipina yan, nandyan sa United Nations. Nagbibigay ng intriga. At tapos, ito namang newspaper na pick up, how many people were killed by that 600 or 3 million drug addicts. Do you have the count? We have. How many? More than the criminals that are killed today. And who are these victims? Wives, workers, students. And yet you only know how to count correctly when you are counting the carcass of these dead criminals. Cannot even a kind language or sentence of those who have died in the wake of a drug problem as serious as the Philippines.